Good afternoon, learners, as well as teachers. Today we are going to do ratios in grade 8. My name is Maputsi Alice. So, like I indicated, we have to know what is a ratio. So in simpler terms, a ratio is a comparison between two numbers or two quantities. And you can't compare two things which does not have the same unit. So meaning that when you compare things, they must have same unit. Example, if I'm comparing centimeters, I have to compare centimeters or meters. Also in mathematics, a ratio can be indicates how many times one number contains another. So the final answer always must not have units. Like even if I'm calculating 4 centimeters to 5 centimeters, at the end I must end up having 4:5. And here the order is very important. 4:5 is not the same thing as 5:4. So now I'm going to do ratios in 4 parts, but the first part that I'm going to start with, it's simplifying ratios. So to simplify a ratio simply means to write a ratio in its simplest form. So how do we do that? So we are going to simplify ratios. I'm going to show you 4 steps of simplifying a ratio. Let's suppose you have to simplify the ratio 24 centimeters to 36 centimeters. So what you have to do here, firstly, you have to find the factors of each number in the ratio, meaning that you have to find the factors of 24 centimeters as well as the factors of 36 centimeters. Then from there, you have to identify the highest common factor of the two values. So the highest common factor of 24 and 36 is 12. Don't forget we did the highest common factor yesterday, so you know how to find the highest common factor. Then from there you have to divide each ratio by the highest common factor, which will be 24 divided by 12 is to 36 divided by 12. Then finally, you have to simplify because we are simplifying ratios. So your answer will finally be 2:3. So now we are going to do another part of ratios, which is dividing the ratios or sharing. You can divide or you can share. So how do we do that? So we can divide a number into a certain ratio. Let's suppose we have 72, which should be divided in the ratio 3:4:5. So what are we supposed to do? So what we have to do is to add all parts of the ratio together, like saying 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 12. Plus 5, it will give us 12. Then from there, we divide the very same number that we must divide, 72 by 12, which is our sum from 3 plus 4 plus 5. So 72 divided by 12 is equals to 6. Then what do we do with that 6? Now we have to multiply the quotient of us, which is 6, by each part of the ratio, that is 3 and 4 and 5. So how do we do that? So let's see. We're going to say 6 times 3. That's 6 there. We times it by 3, it will give us 18. Then 6 times 4, it will give us 24. Then the last one is 5. Then we say 6 times 5, it will give us 30. So finally, we have seen that if we divide 72 in the ratio 3:4:5, it will give us 18 parts, 24 and 30. And all in all, for you to be able to know that you divided into the correct ratio, you have to add all your numbers or all your quantities together. So in this case, 18 plus 24 plus 30 will give us 72. So now we're going to get to the third one, which is decreasing the ratio. How do we decrease the ratio? Like I indicated, we can decrease a number in a certain ratio. So let's see how do we do that. So let's suppose we are given 25 and you are asked to decrease 25 in the ratio 3:2. So now how are we going to do it? Decrease means we're gonna make 25 to be smaller. So to do that, we take the very same 25, we times it by 3:2. We make 2 to be our numerator and 3 to be our denominator, meaning that 3:2, we write it as a fraction, but because we are decreasing, then the small number, which is 2, our numerator, must be divided by a bigger number, 3. So if you do that, ultimately, from your calculator, you're going to see 16 2/3, which equals to 16,6 recurring. Finally, if you correct it to one decimal place, then you'll get 16,7. Then let's look at the second example. Let's suppose we are also asked to decrease 2,500 Rand into the ratio of 4:5. Let's suppose you have 2 kids and you have 2.5 and you want to share this between your kids. Then you divide that into the ratio of 4:5. So now let's see how your kids are going to receive, how much. So because we are decreasing, as I indicated, you change that 4:5 into a fraction. Then from there, you take the smaller number because between 4 and 5, 4 is smaller than 5. So you make 4 your numerator, 5 your denominator, then you multiply everything there. So you can check that from your calculator. Your answer is going to be 2,000. So now let's check. Did we decrease? Yes, we did, because 2.5 now has been decreased to 2.5 now has been decreased to 2,000. Okay, so now we go to the last part, which is increasing the ratio. How do we increase the ratio? We can also increase a number in a certain ratio. Okay, let's have one example of that. So let's suppose you are asked to increase 25 apples into the ratio 3:2. Okay, what must you do? Now we are increasing. I'm sure you can guess, because when we decrease, your numerator has to be smaller than your denominator. So what are we going to do now? Let's see. If we increase, then 25 has to be multiplied by a fraction, which is 3/2. In this case, because we are increasing, then our numerator has to be bigger than our denominator. But I'm sure you're aware that we use the same ratio, 3:2. But make sure that now the bigger number is your numerator and the smaller number is your numerator. So after simplifying that, then your answer will be 75/2, which equals to 37.5. So let's do the second example. The second example is we have to increase 2,005 in the ratio 4:5. Okay, by now you know what to do. The very same ratio 4:5. The very same ratio 4:5. Let's see what we're gonna do with it. then we're going to have 2.500 times rent times 5/4. Why now do we say 5/4? Because we are increasing. If you increase, your numerator is to be bigger than your denominator. So after using a calculator, then your answer will be 3,125. And as you can see, the answer there, it simply indicates that we are right, because 2.5 is smaller than 3,125. So meaning that we have increased 2.5 to 3,125. All right. So now we have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. But don't forget to the QR code, and now I also have the link. So the QR code and the link has your multiple choice questions. So please, I'm gonna wait for some 5 minutes or 2 seconds so that you can capture the QR code so that you can be able to do the multiple choice. Thank you very much. See you another time.